Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bundesliga Show, brought to you by Over the Bar. Tuning in tonight for the start of the Bundesliga season. We are officially here, minutes away from kickoff of the first game of the season. We are tuning in to Werder Bremen versus the champions Bayern Munich. We've been waiting for so long, Mark, so many preseason shows and previews, but now D-Day is here. We are finally at the first game of the season and minutes away from looking forward to some brilliant Bundesliga action, no doubt.
Yeah, we're here, aren't we? I just can't believe it. Yeah, the kickoff day has finally come. We've been talking about it for weeks, seemingly now. Yeah, but the day is here, and I can't wait for it. And what an interesting game as well we've got on our hands. Werder Bremen, always a strong team with a great set of ultras, a full stadium as pretty much every week with Bremen. And then obviously Bayern Munich with the two big signings in the squad. Obviously the Kim Min-jae from Napoli, obviously a big centre forward, one of the best centre backs in Europe last season. And then obviously, from an English perspective at least, probably the most interesting signing in the Bundesliga this year, Harry Kane, England's top ever goal scorer, top goal scorer in the Premier League history. Harry Kane playing in the Bundesliga at the age of 30. Never won a trophy in his whole career, not even a Super Cup, not even a one-off game. And, obviously he's going to be hoping to get his first league title at the age of 30 in Bayern Munich. So, yeah, well, what are you going for your tips tonight? And obviously only a couple of minutes till kickoff. The players are already getting ready to come onto the pitch. What are you going for tonight, Rory, for your first tip of the season?
First tip of the season, first chance to look stupid. You just kind of feel with all the excitement and anticipation around Harry Kane, it's kind of got maybe a Harry Kane brace with a 3-1 scoreline to Bayern this evening. I feel, there are plenty of things not completely set in stone with Bayern at the moment, but I think they'll be strong enough to get off to a positive start this evening and win the opener. What about yourself?
Yeah, I think I'm also going to go for an away win, but I think it'll be tight. I would go maybe 3-1, 3-2, but I'm going to go for a 2-1. I just think, obviously, last year we saw Bayern absolutely smash Frankfurt. Everyone thought Frankfurt would give them a game, but they won 6-1 on that day. But I don't think it's going to be so easy today. I haven't tipped Werder Bremen to have a good season, but I think this is a really good opening fixture for them, actually. I think, get Bayern Munich out of the way early. You never know, you might catch them cold, which is what they'll be hoping for. They've got the likes of Nicholas Füllkrug out there and Marvin Duksch, which, nobody thought they were going to be able to keep both of them. That's an amazing effort from them to keep them. It's pretty much the same team as last season, isn't it? Anthony Young, Jens Stage, Bittencourt, Weiser, all the main guys that were in there last year are still there today. And to be honest, I think there's only Leinen who's in there that wasn't a regular starter last season, basically. I think obviously Naby Keita, unfortunately, their big summer signing is injured for this game and he's going to be out for the foreseeable future. But, there's only really, and as you mentioned, even in Bayern Munich's team, there's only really Min-jae and Harry Kane who are new to that team. Aside from that, it's a team that we know we're used to. Obviously, the other big news is the fact that Sven Ulreich is going to be in net, which is, not the most pleasing news for Bayern fans because, he's not always had the best results in that squad. But he is a capable goalkeeper. He's experienced. It's not like he's a debutant tonight. He's played enough games over the years for Bayern. But yeah, that is something that Werder Bremen are going to be looking to exploit just as we kick off here in Bremen, Rory.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been, all the build-up, all the previews, the pre-match gloss that we've seen tonight in Bremen as well. Very, all the 18 Bundesliga team flags and a bit of music as well just before we got started. So, yeah, the talking is over. It's time for a bit of Bundesliga football. I suspect as per when I'm streaming it, through Sky Sports, you'll probably be ahead of me, Mark. So you can no doubt lead on comms tonight, as we generally do. But yeah, obviously, before we get stuck into the match itself, I wonder if we're maybe to pick out any surprises in the team lineups. As you say, Bremen look relatively settled. I think probably some of the bigger choices for Bayern are quite interesting, though, if we start to if we look at the right back position. So obviously Mazraoui gets the nod. All the uncertainty over Benjamin Pavard. So Mazraoui gets a chance to impress from the start. Also, one thing that I'm quite surprised about is Goretzka getting the start ahead of Lima, sorry, because he's pretty much played most of pre-season in there with Kimmich. And there's been plenty of chat around Goretzka's future as well. So chance again for Goretzka to nail down his spot. So we'll see how he goes. And then obviously Muller on the bench. You've mentioned Ulreich in net. And then also I think there's another not shock, I guess, but Upamecano also given the nod ahead of De Ligt. I think a lot of people are expecting maybe there to be a partnership built between De Ligt and Min-jae. So Upamecano also has a chance to impress tonight. So quite a lot of interesting selections to me tonight for Bayern. I don't know if you picked up on any of that either as well, Mark.
Yeah, the big shock for me was Upamecano getting the nod over De Ligt, because obviously, I think De Ligt made it into most people's team of the season last year. He was very, very highly rated. We've actually only just kicked off on my screen. I think we had a minute silence for Herdgears, a Werder Bremen legend who unfortunately died this week. But yeah, this month, I should say, actually. But yeah, basically, the big surprise is De Ligt not starting. I don't know where you're up to in the game, Rory. I'm on around about 25 seconds just at the moment. Are you ahead of me, or?
No, so I'm going to be about 30 seconds behind you, I reckon.
Yeah.
Just as we get kicked off there. Obviously, was a bit of a delay kickoff in general. Often we do get these grand starts, and obviously a moment's pause as well, as you say, for a Werder legend who's just passed away. So we are underway, Mark. We are back. We have Bundesliga football to tuck into. We can start to dissect it all and review, and it just feels so good to be back. I'm very happy and content now, and I'm getting to watch the England captain, all-time goal scorer. It is quite strange as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's just incredible. I still can't get over the fact that Bayern managed to sign him, to be honest with you. I've been talking about it to quite a lot of people this week. And, there's surprise in Germany, too, that obviously he's decided to exchange the riches of the Premier League, with a chance of being top goal scorer in Premier League history. He's turned all that down to come to the Bundesrepublik and try and win something with Bayern Munich, But for me, everyone's saying he's only here to win something. But I also think the German football culture as well will have been a big thing as well. Everybody knows that the German football culture is just something special, basically. That you can see, again, an amazing crowd in Werder Bremen, ultras behind both goals. Just fantastic. It's going to be a real baptism of fire for the England centre forward as well tonight. It's one of the hardest places to go in terms of the atmosphere away to Werder Bremen. But, just mentioning Bremen, I mean, obviously the hopes aren't that high for this season, but they have actually done well to keep most of the best players. They only lost a couple of major players, just as Bayern Munich are dominating possession early on. They've just won a free kick as well from a foul by Werder Bremen. So, yeah, not really much has happened at all in the first 2 minutes. It's just Bayern Munich keeping possession. That's going to be key tonight as well. They'll try and get that early goal, but they will want to keep possession and take the sting out of that Werder Bremen attack early on, because let's be honest, Werder Bremen are most of their attack comes through that, double centre forward partnership between Füllkrug and Dutch. Actually, some good early play by Bayern, but it's ended up being a goal kick. Actually, Harry Kane had his first touch in a Bayern shirt, and it was a nice little flick on, but it was well defended by Werder, kicked off the England man for a goal kick. But yeah, you could see Bayern Munich fans as well. Good number of them made the long trip up to Bremen as well. It really is a long trek from Munich to Bremen, pretty much the other side of the country, to be honest. But yeah, Rory, what have you made of the opening stages then?
Yeah, as you'd expect, lots of energy, good bit of pressing from both sides when they want to. Bayern pressing higher up the pitch than Werder, as you'd expect. And yeah, first little kind of bit of creativity.
Oh, one-on-one for Bayern, one-on-one. It's 1-0 to Bayern. 1-0 already, and it's Leroy Sané after just 3 minutes and 15
Wow.
seconds. He ran through almost where was Werder's defence? This has been my concern for them this season. I am a bit worried about their defence at times and also the goalkeeping, but a great start to the season for Leroy Sané. I'm just waiting to see who got the flick on it. The ball was lost deep into the Bayern half, but it was very, very well worked by the Bayern. It was Musiala initially, then yeah, great 1-2 as well, involving, I think Kane's got his first assist already, actually, after just 3.5 minutes. And Leroy Sané, criticised for his finishing a lot, but this was a beautiful little tuck, easy finish, really, past Pavlenka for the 1-0 for Bayern Munich, Rory. And what a start. It mirrors last season, doesn't it, when they put 6 past Frankfurt on that first day. They got a very early goal there, and so far, so good for them tonight as well, Rory.
Yeah, what a start. I mean, just getting us started in typical Bundesliga fashion. 1 goal after 3 minutes, I mean, it's kind of like the Bundesliga memo is to sometimes forget about defending. It seems to have been the case here from the home side, Werder. As you say, yeah, Harry Kane will be credited with his first assist, probably his second touch of the game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's not bad going. Sané goes through on goal from a long way out, has obviously plenty of pace to see that through, takes that extra touch to settle himself. It's not a clean contact though, but it's accurate enough, obviously, to put it away for 1-0 Bayern. We didn't have to wait long at all. Ballum, and just reflecting on the goal, but welcome along to everyone that's watching, first and foremost as well. We're really excited to be watching this game. Hope you're all absolutely buzzing for the start of this Bundesliga season. We haven't had to wait long for our first goal. One thing I did actually want to pick up on was something that Ballum mentioned a little bit earlier on, is that there is a Sky Sports stream at the moment going on where you can have a Harry Kane cam. Just as Bayern were trying to break forward there, but it breaks down further, getting enough men behind the ball. The press, Bayern are hungry tonight, Mark. They're pressing high. But yeah, that's quite an interesting thing. And it's obviously so typical that, Sky Sports, obviously the English version of Sky Sports are now giving so much attention to the Bundesliga because of Harry Kane. I've seen it advertised more today on the channel than I think I've ever seen it advertised since Sky Sports have had the Bundesliga rights. But that's just the good thing about it, about Harry Kane being in this league. It will genuinely generate so much more interest, I think, and hopefully for more people to kind of fall in love with this league, so to speak. So, it can only be a good thing, really. But on a not so good thing, for Werder fans, you're 1-0 down early on to a Bayern side who look particularly, on point so far, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, they've literally flown out of the blocks. That might be partly to do with the kind of talking to that Thomas Tuchel gave them after the disastrous 3-0 home thrashing really last week against RB Leipzig. But yeah, this really, really reminds me so much of the way they started last year against Frankfurt. It almost seems like deja vu. Just as actually, I think a good play from Füllkrug there. The first time he's got on the ball, he actually got the better of Upamecano actually there, and he's won a free kick in a good position here for Werder Bremen. Out wide, but it's a very good position to get a good ball in. So just stay with me while that comes on. Good play from Füllkrug there, using his body to kind of rob initially Upamecano of the ball and then win a free kick there after a clumsy foul from Upamecano. He's got a big night tonight because most people expected Kim and De Ligt to be the centre-half partnership this season for Bayern. And, a player of his quality wants to be starting games, so he needs to make a real good impression to, make Thomas Tuchel realise that he is good enough to start for this side. But just as a free kick is just about to be taken, it's going to be Dux actually who's going to take it. It's very, very far wide, but it's a good chance for Werder to get a good ball in here. Dux is standing over the ball. He puts it in. It looks good. Oh, it's 1-0. It's 1-0. It's a goal. Oh, is it offside though? No way. The Bayern luck maybe again strikes. Yeah, I think it has been flagged off. It was Füllkrug incredibly who put it in. there's a lot of men in the box. It does look initially, I think it is offside. That's so unfortunate, but it was offside there from Full Crew. But that was almost like the dream reply there from Hoeneß's side. Werner's side, sorry. But it's just offside, and it is a correct decision by the look of it. So well played to the linesman there. But yeah, a little bit of luck there from Bayern, because to be honest, the defense didn't look particularly clever. It's not officially been ruled out yet. These VARs these days, you just never know quite what's going to happen with them. They might notice a finger was further onside, keeping him onside. So let's just stay with that. It did look offside to me, but as I said, with VAR in this day and age, you just don't know, really, to be honest. So it's still going to it. The Werder fans look nervous. Always, he's giving it. It is offside. Yeah, the correct decision did come to it eventually. But yeah, Werder Bremen proving that they do have quality on the ball if you give them a chance. And Füllkrug will be gutted there. He thought he had the equaliser, and that would have been one hell of a start to the season for him. But it's still 1-0 to Bayern, Rory.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, almost the perfect response. I think we know that those situations are always going to be dangerous for Werder's point of view if they can put in that quality delivery. Strange how long it took for them to actually get to the decision. Looked pretty clear cut to me early on. But anyway, no doubt we're going to have bags and bags of added on time, as seems to be the way from now on. But good response, good header, good movement in the box. Encouragement for Werder fans, absolutely. Fingers crossed that they can work their way back into this by creating those sort of chances. Great run forward here from Alphonso Davies, but he does run into trouble. And looks like we got a free kick here for Bayern, Mark, and presumably you're probably
we do. Yeah, it's just getting close. They've still not quite taken it yet, but it looks as though Kimmich is standing. There's 3 players. Actually, Kane also seems to fancy a goal. It'll be interesting to see if he has a strike. Kimmich, obviously the usual free kick taker, but he doesn't usually strike free kicks, Kimmich. Although it's going to be Kane who hits it, although it's deflected, and a pretty poor effort in truth, really. I think they just wanted to give Kane an early shot in anger there, really,
Yeah.
But yeah, to be honest, the attack is looking very, very good from Bayern so far, I'll be honest. And it seems as though Kane is already starting to look pretty good in that team. He's getting involved. He's already done a couple, as you mentioned, he's already got an assist, and it was a great 1-2 between him and Sane, which actually led to the goal. He's already tried that a couple of times, a quick 1-2 actually in this game, Kane. And he's going to be looking at this team and thinking, he fancies getting a lot of goals and assists this season. And, he's made it, I'd say the first 10, 12 minutes of his debut have been very, very satisfactory indeed. Just as he wins the ball again here and plays a good ball out wide to Davis, who now, the Werder defense is just getting nowhere near this Bayern attack at the minute, which is a bit concerning. Just as it's played out wide to Sane again. They're just waiting the time. They just have so much time and space at the moment, Bayern, in the attack. Come on the ball as well. I think they just have a lot of time, and Werder are struggling to close down the space as the ball comes in, but it's well headed out by Piper. And then it's going to be another free kick for Bayern again. So Bayern definitely the better side, but obviously Rory, Werder have had that great opportunity and shown the Bayern defense, which hasn't been that tight for the last 2 or 3 years, really, is still vulnerable a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Werder with obviously the back 3. It might soon become a back 5. Obviously, when they're in defence, they are defending as a back 5 with Jung and Weiser. Obviously, they've got the new man in defensive midfielder, Leinen, is it? So we haven't seen much of him at all. Presumably, he's kind of doing the Naby Keita role, obviously, which they signed Keita for that defensive kind of midfielder role with lots of energy, but he might find himself getting overrun and isolated. Who does he pick up? Because Kane comes short. We all know that to collect the ball, and then he's got runners going in behind him as well, with the likes of Coman and Sane and obviously Musiala. So yeah, not an easy task for any defence really. Just as Bayern come down the left here with Davies, hasn't got his cross in, finds Sane rather, move it across smoothly to the right hand side. Kane almost threads it through, but it finds the hands of Pavlenka in the end there, Mark. Might just quickly come to a few comments. Obviously, please do. You can jump in, Mark, as and when there's some goal mouth action. Just at the moment, Werder switching play for me. Ballum asking, will Harry Kane be the Bundesliga Golden Boot winner by the end of the season? I think everyone are kind of hedging their bets on this one and backing him to do so. Just as Werder trying to get down Bayern's left-hand side there, Mark. I don't know how far that is, but Min Jae doing a bit of good covering there also.
Yeah, good. That was the first time we've seen Min Jae, really, and that was pretty good defending there. He's supposedly a very fast and physical defender, He's had an incredible career, actually, Min Jae, and incredibly, I actually saw him play for Beijing Guo'an in China, incredibly, years ago. Yeah, and that was long before he became big. And I think he actually got signed by Napoli from Beijing Guo'an to the Chinese club. Just as Sane, who's had a really good start, is absolutely flying at the defence, although he plays a poor ball in this instance. But yeah, he's an interesting player. The career path he's taken is just insane, really. He played in the Korean domestic leagues before moving to China, when China had all the money as well, obviously, in that period when the Chinese Super League was really thriving. And then obviously he moved to Napoli and just did brilliantly there. And now he's got the big move to Bayern as well. And, I've liked the look of what I've seen him throughout his career, really. But, it's been an amazing career path from Korea to to Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga, and he's going to be really interesting to watch this season. He started well so far. That was good defending from him there after that through ball from Werder he managed to cut it out. But yeah, Bayern Munich, I'll look at it, to be honest. Today, I like the way that Kane's dropping so deep as well. He's dropping deep, and pretty much every pass and every touch he's had has been of value so far in this match. But it's interesting that he's dropping so deep at times, and it makes you wonder whether he'll end up with more assists than goals in this Bayern team, because obviously there's a lot of other quality Bayern players who can put the ball into the back of the net as well. And as we've already seen, he's already got that first assist in a Bayern shirt. Sane must be laughing at the moment because, he's going to really enjoy playing with a guy like Kane, who'll drop deep, and he's not a selfish player despite the number of goals that he scores as well,
Oh, no, yeah.
So, yeah, all looking very good for Bayern at the moment after the first 16, 17 minutes.
Yeah. I think one thing that Bundesliga fans or maybe more German natives who haven't seen lots of Harry Kane other than internationally will soon start to realize and appreciate that Harry Kane is way more than a goal scorer. His range of passing is really impressive, actually. So you would expect to see his assists grow by the way that he has already in the Premier League. That would not be a surprise. As you say, he's got willing runners and often players who are going to be in the box, just as Werder worked the ball quite well here, but it's good recovery run by Goretzka to break up that Werder attack. Another player who stands to want to impress this evening for sure, getting the nod amid transfer rumours. There's not many players that don't have transfer rumours against their names these days, but yeah, he's certainly one that has done. Bayern looking, very comfortable in possession. Werder will no doubt pick their moments to try and get the ball back, Mark. It looks like it's kind of a tentative press from Werder until they'll go on a loose touch, basically, or when basically Bayern hit the final third. They don't even look like they're pressing on halfway line, really.
Yeah, it's been a struggle, to be honest. Aside from that disallowed goal, they've not really had anything at all in the Bayern half. And Bayern have been good, really good. I know it's early days, but I would say this is the best I've seen Bayern under Tuchel. Really, I would go that far. Obviously, the fact that he's had a full pre-season as well is going to really, really help him, And I didn't think he was very good. I'll be honest with you. Last season when he came in, I thought he was very underwhelming. Just as some really good play again. Just wide there. Who hit it? Musiala with the first time we've seen him pull away from that midfielder into the open space. Great place from Musiala. Great play from Musiala. He strikes it well, but it's comfortably wide of Pavlenka's post. But that's the first we've seen of him this season. Just as we see the offside goal, which was pretty clear in my opinion, offside. But Musiala, great play there, Rory.
Picking up the ball again, quite just on halfway, turn of pace to get past the first tackler, and he's not met at all then until the edge of the area. So absolutely goes for goal, as you would expect. As you say, seeing the offside goal again, from a VAR point of view, pretty clear cut, you have to say. Long time ago, that probably would have been considered close, but in these in these days, it's almost considered a mile offside. That
Dutch gets a booking as well, by the way, a booking for Dutch there on after a high boot on Upamecano. Disappointing for him, who after putting that great ball in for the offside goal. But he's already got in the ball. It's going to be interesting to see if we see a lot more bookings in the Bundesliga too this year, because obviously in other leagues like in England, they've been really clamping down on just about everything, which is, to be honest, not really impressed everyone, because some people, they seem to think there are too many bookings, Rory. I mean, I know obviously, first of all, what do you think of, actually, just stay with me, because again, Bayern have broken away here, or the ball being crossed in. Who's going to hit it? Maybe, geez, it looked like it was in. It was a beautiful strike from Goretzka. Actually, no, it was Mazraoui who hit it in the end. Mazraoui hit it. It looked like Pavlenka was beaten, but it's just gone wide of the post. Great place from Kingsley Coman. What a player he is, really. And it's Mazraoui who hits it. Jeez, it's actually clipped the outside of the post. That was a really sweet strike, that from 25 yards, and it's actually clipped the outside of the post. Very unlucky from Bayern there. I mean, what a player Kingsley Coman is, and they're just getting killed at the minute, to be honest. They've lost the ball again deep inside their own half. They're doing well to scurry back in numbers and get late tackles in, but they're losing the ball too much, and they simply cannot keep it for more than 2-3 passes, Rory, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Amos Pieper doesn't show his best side of defending there, because he's neither close, he's not touch tight to Kingsley Coman to make a physical presence or difference, nor is he far enough away so that he doesn't get caught, too short. And in the end, he's comfortably beaten for pace, and Coman gets the ball across for Mazraoui, which was a really good strike actually, and was kind of Benjamin Pavard-esque, really.
Yeah.
Is he the ready-made replacement right back? He's certainly been vocal as well as Gravenberch about his frustrations to not be starting, especially last season. So could it be the season for him? It would be really interesting to see. He's definitely a player of talent. You don't get the praise and mention from Ajax without being a really quality player. Going back to the bookings thing, it might be something that we see more of, particularly from just as Bremen coming forward here.
They got a free kick here actually as well, Bremen.
Yeah.
In a good position, a striking position, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Dutch have a go as well. Yeah, because obviously he put that beautiful ball in for the first effort. Yeah, this might be the only chance Werder really get to properly do anything in this game with free kicks. This is a good position actually. It's not quite centre on, so just stay with me for this before we come to the discussion about the bookings. But Dutch is going to take this, and this is a chance for Werder because it's a fantastic dead ball player, Marvin Dutch. He's going to take it. Oh, it's coming in now. But it's straight to. He did get it on target, but it's straight to Ulreich, who saves comfortably. So yeah, Rory, I mean, what do you think about all these bookings? Because obviously it's been a big talk in England as well. Do you think the increased number of bookings is good for the game to try and stamp out some of the dark arts, so to speak? Or do you think it's a little bit much, really, at times?
I get the principle, but at the same time, they're talking about, ball in play time, because now is obviously why we're getting all this extra time and added on time. Sorry. Yeah. almost feels counterproductive. So if there's a tackle that a referee can get away with just keeping the game flowing and not booking a player, the referee will naturally add 30 seconds for getting his card out and doing the booking in the first place, dealing with the skirmish afterwards, and almost feels like it's a bit backwards. Particularly that Dusk one, because if you see, you can see that it's kind of a 50-50, and in years gone by, that's a fairly okay tackle. And if he wins that, it's basically a 3-on-1 for Werder as well. So he had to go for it. They had a real presentable opportunity, Werder. If he had won that ball, there's loads of room down the left-hand side. Bayern's defenders were long gone. So I think that's a particularly harsh one. I'd get the boot being up and everything else is a standard one, just as we've seen a Kimmich free kick being whipped in, and does it lead to a corner kick?
It leads to a corner, and then Kane gets a chance as well, actually, which is well defended by Werder. He gets the shot in and blocked. I actually just noticed that Kane looks like he's sweating like crazy as well, by the way. I mean, obviously, that's an interesting point because it is boiling in the Bundesrepublik at the moment. It's like almost 9 o'clock and it's 27 degrees in Nuremberg. Yeah, I don't know what it's like in Bremen because that's a little bit further north, but it really is hot. I'm also sweating a little bit, so I can imagine that being out on the football pitch in this kind of weather is hot for a person from Britain, obviously, who aren't that used to the hot weather. So that's going to be interesting, actually, especially in the summer months when it gets really hot in Germany these days. So, yeah, I mean, that is going to be, it looks like he's absolutely sweating buckets, as we say. Yeah. So, but I mean, overall, his performance has been nothing short of superb. Really. He's shown all his quality. He's already got that first assist on the board. And, it's been a really entertaining game in general. It's been a typical Bundesliga game, let's be honest. I mean, Bayern the better side by far, but you always get the feeling that Werder have got a goal or even two in them in this game, especially from set plays. They break in numbers as pretty much every team in the Bundesliga does. Bayern play a very, very high line, and at times when Werder win the ball, they don't win the ball much in the Bayern half, but when they do, then they've got 2 or 3 players already in the half. So, I mean, Werder, if they can get an equaliser here, they can still make it difficult for Bayern tonight. We saw that quite a lot of times last season. Bayern getting an early goal. They didn't get the second goal, and then they ended up either just about scraping a 1-0 win, or they ended up getting pegged back for a 1-0. We saw that a lot last season, so that's going to be something that Thomas Tuchel is going to want to really stamp out. Although, again, Bayern with a great ball, it's great. Although Coman plays a really poor ball from a good position there into the box. Although it's won back by Davis, although Piper just about gets it away this time.
Yeah, so 25 minutes into this Bundesliga season. So I hope you're all enjoying the game so far. There's so much football to come this season, so much to enjoy. Obviously, the impact of Harry Kane has been rubber stamped with his assist, but some suspect defending as well by Werder. So the champions are 1-0 up here on Over the Bars, first watch-along of the season. Me and Mark enjoying having our footy back, and really, really refreshing to see an early goal for us as well. An early disallowed goal for Werder. If you've missed it, an offside stopped full crew from equalising almost instantly. Since then, Bayern have controlled possession and have had a couple of chances, particularly Mazraoui hitting the outside of the post. We're almost halfway through the first half, no doubt with extra time. Usually going to be quite longer this season. And we've just got a bit more of a break in the game here, Mark. And I guess no real surprises tactically from either side, really.
No, not at all. Yeah, I think Bittencourt just took a knock there as well. Yeah, but I mean, Werder will be relatively pleased as well about the fact that they've kept it at 1-0 because at times it's been tough. I think they're going to have possibly a drinks break here, although there is a potential injury here. Is Bittencourt? Hopefully he's going to be okay because he's key for the creative spark of the Werder Bremen side. Hoeneß looks a little bit worried as well. Sorry, Werner. I keep calling him Hoeneß for some reason. Yeah, but it's obviously Ole Werner. Yeah, I think he's going to be okay to continue. So we're going to see a bit more of him as well. But it looks really hot. Like all the players are just dripping with sweat, literally. So I'd imagine it's a similar kind of temperature to here in Nuremberg. But yeah, I mean, Werder is still in the game. There's no question about that. I mean, tactically, it's hard because when you're against a Bayern side that have got a full roster to pick from, everyone's fit. You know, they've only had one game this season. They look up for this tonight. They know that they need to start with a good win because you know Dortmund. There's a few teams in the Bundesliga this year that really look like they mean business, and you know Leipzig, Dortmund, and potentially Leverkusen as well are all going to be there to kind of push Bayern to the title this year. But they know they need a good win. If they start with a win, an away win today, then you know they're going home next week, and things will be looking quite rosy in the Bayern camp as well. So. You know, but this game does have some kind of feel of last season as well. Bayern kind of starting really well, but they didn't get the goals necessarily. You know, a few stray passes in key positions end up leading to, you know, Werder pushing on in the second half and potentially getting something out of the game. But we'll have to see. I mean, you know, although they win the ball deep into the Werder half again here and some good last-ditch defending, to be fair, from Werder, cutting out some of those passes from the likes of Coman. But yeah, again, Kane dropping deep to win the ball back. And, you know, Bayern are very dominant, really, at times. And they look confident, too. And, you know, but it's about getting that second goal. Really, they'll want to get the second goal before half-time, in my opinion, because it seemed like Werder Bremen with Dutch and Füllkrug, and even the likes of Bittencourt and Stage, you know, they've got goals in the side. And, you know, they won't want to be going into the last 20 minutes with a one-goal lead, Rory.
No, they won't. Absolutely not. Evening to Runa as well. Thanks for popping a comment in the chat, Runa. I'm sure you're busy beavering away for Bully News for probably live match updates and reports to come. One of our brilliant partners this season, Bully News. So hope you're enjoying the game so far, Runa. And no doubt you would have had Kane pinned down as one of your fantasy players and got points as a result. And he's just asked anyone gets Sane in the fantasy Bundesliga. I certainly didn't because I probably wasn't up to date enough in regards to Gnabry's injury, so I wasn't sure if he'd start tonight. So I haven't gone for him. Mark, did you gamble on Sane?
No, I didn't actually, but I gambled on Kane. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd really call it a gamble, to be honest, Kane. But yeah, I've just checked actually, he's already got me 8 points as captain, so not a bad first half an hour for him. I've also got Musiala and Davis in the team as well, so I've kind of gambled all the way on Bayern tonight. But yeah, I mean, obviously Sane, he's going to be a player that, in my opinion, he could benefit from the likes of Kane because, you know, he is a good player, Sane, but we've not, in my opinion, never really seen the absolute best of him in a Bayern Munich shirt. But this is an important season for him this year.
Yeah.
And the way he's started today, he's looked very, very good. He's just going to have to work on his finishing and also, like, at times of decision making deep into the opposition half. And so far, I think he's done well. You know, he wants to get to the kind of level of Kingsley Coman, who is pretty much always very, very good. And he's great in his finishing, his decision making. He wants to get to that kind of level this season, in my opinion. And, you know, he's got a big season ahead because if he doesn't do it this season, then you've got to question really whether Bayern are going to want to keep him around for much longer, to be honest.
Yep, yeah, indeed. It feels like Bayern have had the same wingers for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But, you know, they are top quality Bundesliga players a lot of the time. So yeah, I guess there's been a bit of a lull in the match actually in the last few minutes. Maybe our first of the game is still hotly contested, mostly in the middle of the pitch, Mark. Werder battling hard to get any kind of touch on the ball, let alone possession, or even break out. Bayern look absolutely comfortable, but until that second goal, it's it's completely up for debate and open. We're about 33 minutes into this match, so still a long way to go. So hopefully you can all sit and enjoy it with us, just as Coman sends a bit of a loopy cross away, and you can see all the flags and banners in the background. Obviously, the Werder supporters just enjoying having football back, which myself and Mark are also doing under the floodlights. Friday night football, first game of the season, beer in hand, couldn't get better.
Just Goretzka smashes in a really sweet strike as well, which is well saved by Pavlenka. That's about the third or the fourth time that Bayern have tried the luck from distance. So makes you wonder, maybe that might be a new tactic for them this season, because at times they got accused of overplaying last season, just passing it aimlessly around in the opposition half. But we've already seen 3 or 4 shots from distance this evening, and all 3 of them have been good, to be fair. So I mean, Pavlenka, not always the highest rated goalkeeper in the Bundesliga, to be fair. So it could be partly to do with that. Maybe the Thomas Tuchel has told them to test him a little bit.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some of the play has just been superb. Some great footwork again there from the likes of Musiala and Kimmich, and everything looking good for Bayern so far. Probably the only worry for them is that they haven't really created any clear-cut chances since the 1-0, really. Although they've had half chances, definitely, but they've not had any clear-cut chances, Rory, since then.
No, not at all. Good run there again by Coman, I think it was. Mazraoui trying to play the 1-2, but doesn't get the ball back. But yeah, I just feel with 10 minutes to go roughly until half-time, obviously, until 45 minutes are up anyway, Werder will just be, they'll just be relying on breaking up the play and trying to get those set piece opportunities. One thing, I guess, disappointingly, we haven't seen from Werder, but it's mainly on the fact that they haven't had anywhere near enough possession to do so. It is those kind of in-play crosses, the ones that really benefit the likes of Füllkrug and Dusch to kind of thrive off. We've only really seen 2 instances of it. Obviously, one led to a disallowed goal. So, yeah, I think one thing that they'd hope to do a little bit more as the half goes on and the second half goes on is get possession higher up the field, which is easier said than done when you're being pressed so hard, and then get some of those crosses in, Mark, because, as you said, Werder last season were absolutely good for a good few goals. In most matches, they're a very exciting team to watch, often involved in high-scoring games. So I'd be surprised if, particularly come the second half, that they were still sitting back in this manner.
Yeah, definitely. I think Mitchell Weiser is a man that, he needs to get up the field a bit more, because he was I think he got 11 or 12 assists last season, which is a crazy for a low budget purchase from Leverkusen. He ended up being one of the unsung heroes of the season last year, and he just made a great tackle before, which might kind of G him up a little bit, but he's had a hard evening out there so far. I mean, Davis and Coman have been giving him an absolute nightmare on the wing. But yeah, they need to get him involved more, because he's a great crosser of the ball, Mitchell Weiser. And, that is the danger, really. Werder are very, very good with those crosses into the box, because they've got 2 players who can head and also finish. They're 2 great finishers, Duch and Füllkrug. And, when they've been on the ball this evening so far, they've looked very, very good as well. Like, really, Füllkrug is what the little he's had of the ball, he's looked really at it and good. And so has Duch. So, there is still hope in this for Werder, and I think they've just got to hope that Bayern maybe start to tire a bit. Obviously they've had a tough pre-season. They've been here and there and everywhere, as most big clubs do these days. I don't know exactly where Werder went, but I think they stayed in Germany, actually. So that might have benefited them a little bit. But so far, Bayern, they're going to want that second goal before half-time, really, because they had a lot of games like this last season where they dominated the first half, didn't get that second goal, and ended up drawing or even losing in some cases. So, that is something that Thomas Tuchel needs to start stamping out. They do need to, as mad as it sounds, they need to start scoring more goals again. I know they still got a lot of goals last season, but a lot of them were in individual hammerings. There were too many games where they scored only 1 goal last season. And, Bayern Munich should be scoring 2-3 goals a game, really, ideally, with this roster available to them. So, Tuchel will be happy, but he won't be 100% satisfied, because, they played well, but they've not created enough clear-cut chances, really. Although, here we go again. Kane, his shot's blocked. But that's one of the reasons why Bayern haven't been able to create so many clear-cut chances, because some of the last-ditch defending from Werder has been really, really good. They've been getting men behind the ball, blocking it, and now good play from Fulkrug to win a free kick on the halfway line as well. Again, great play from Fulkrug there to win a free kick off Kimmich, a foul from him. And he's the key to this. For me, Werder, if they want to get something from this game, they've just got to keep it to 0-0, 1-0 until maybe the last 20, 25 minutes. Then they've got to start throwing bodies forward and trying to win the ball deeper up the park, Rory.
Yeah, absolutely. I think quite rightly, Fulkrug's strength is, one thing that Werder will play off all season long. That's no secret. And, as much as we give Fulkrug credit for his aerial ability and
just as a shot comes in, sorry there, more great play from Werder. Wow, and it's Dutch and Fulkrug again combining. Geez. Although he was offside again by the look of it. Geez, that's one thing they've got to start working on a little bit more. But it was more fantastic forward play from Fulkrug and Dutch again. They are definitely the key, but again, he was offside. It wasn't actually Fulkrug. I'm not sure who it was that got beyond the defender there. But again, the ball was initially offside. But again, great play from Werder once you get it to that front two, Rory.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it just, case in point, isn't it? Exactly what you said, exactly what I was talking about. And absolutely, all right, is the man who is tested and will be tested. Bayern have obviously bought a, whatever you want to call it, a second choice keeper, a third choice keeper for when Neuer is back as competition. So if he doesn't perform, there's going to be another goalkeeper in before Neuer comes back. So that, good enough save, absolutely. But as you say, it was offside anyhow. And Bayern will feel, they should feel wary of that threat, exactly that. And it's come mostly from free kick scenarios, just as Bayern were coming forward there. Been some good blocks by the Werder defense, although it went missing for the goal, absolutely. But they have tightened up. I think, it's quite clear that the first 10 minutes Werder were looking to press Bayern higher up the pitch, and now that has completely been shut down. And it's now they press when Bayern attack the final third, basically. In that sense, they're very happy Bayern having the ball on halfway and even into their halfway line. But free kick here for Bayern again. Werder showing their physicality, but this led to another chance, Mark, and presumably you've either seen it happen or just about to happen.
Yeah, Kimmich spooned it hopelessly over the bar. Yeah, it was quite a really poor free kick, actually, that one. But as you mentioned, Werder, the defense has definitely improved as they drop deeper, but they'll feel relatively in control, because they know that if they can get it to the likes of Fulkrug and Dux, that they only need a chance or two to get the goal. Both of them are prolific finishers, really. And they proved that tonight already. But it's just a pity they can't stay offside on the few chances they do, onside the few chances they do get. But there's still belief in this game for Werder, really. I think that they played relatively well in the last half an hour or so after a very poor first 5 or 7 minutes. But Bayern is still getting pretty much all the ball, and they're getting very, very easily deep into the Werder half, but they're not quite getting that clear-cut chance. And a lot of that has been due to improved defending from Werder, the blocks, and also some, clever tactical fouls in positions where it's probably a little bit too far out for Bayern to realistically test Pavlenka. So, the game, I guess the pattern of the game at the moment is going pretty much as you would have imagined. The scoreline doesn't surprise anyone, but it's been quite intriguing as well. Just as Harry Kane goes down in the area too, but it looked a little bit soft and the referee has waved it away. Mazraoui as well as another player who's had a really good first half. Sane, again, well blocked. Yeah, Mazraoui is a player that for me has got a lot of potential. And what was Pavlenka doing there? There was a chip into the box. It looked pretty innocuous, but Pavlenka came flying out of the block there, and almost it was a bit risky, but it turned out to be decent goalkeeping as it goes out for a goal kick for Werder. Yeah. But it was actually Goretzka who went down in the box, not Kane, but it was never a penalty or anything even close to being a penalty, Rory, that one.
No, not at all. No, I'm not even sure he was even asking for it, to be fair, in the end. Yeah, obviously closing in on half time here. Almost first full half of Bundesliga action of the season. Thank you to everyone that's tuned in so far with us this evening, and hopefully you can share with your friends and family alike to get involved this evening. Let us know who you're supporting tonight. Werder fans in the house, Bayern fans in the house. All are welcome with our watch along this evening on Over the Bars channel on the Bundesliga Show. We are finally here having and enjoying some Bundesliga action. Bayern in control here. Maybe kind of got catfished into thinking that we might have endless goals after a goal after 3 minutes and then a disallowed goal after 8. But nevertheless, it has been an entertaining game. It has been interesting just to see how both sides are kind of shaping up for this season. We'll see much more of it over the course of the weekend. So much to look forward to. And we'll get to that at half time. We'll do predictions and we'll look ahead. So do stick with us. Whilst we're doing that, have your say as well. Do remember to smash a like on this video. Always, it really helps with the algorithms, pushing it out to other people. Comment along and please do smash that red button to subscribe as we are closing so quickly now onto 1,000 subscribers. So can you be the number 1,000? That would be fantastic if you could be. So please do join the community that we are building over the bar. Corner for Bayern here, Mark, but I presume it's come to nothing.
Yeah, actually, not really nothing. Kim actually got a really, really good header on target, actually, and it was relatively well saved by. It was relatively well saved by the big Pavlenka as well. But he's impressed me too. I've been quite impressed with him. It's not easy making a debut as well. It's not easy at all making a debut, but he's been really, really good so far. And, it's going to be, I think there's 3 minutes added on, actually, which is probably a little bit less. And although at the same time, there's not been many stoppages at all, really. For the Bundesliga standard, 3 minutes is a lot for halftime. So it does suggest that there are going to be longer stoppages as well. Just as actually Kim just makes a foul. And again, a good position for Werder to get across in. Again, Dutch is standing over the ball. It's not close enough to shoot, but it's a good position to get a good ball in. This is to make sure they stay on side here this time. But yeah, this is probably, there's not going to be much left after this because we're into 46 minutes and 20 seconds. But Dutch is going to put the ball in. Again, it's a good ball. Oh, the keeper comes out and misses it, but it's actually really well defended. I'm not sure who by. But geez, Ulreich came absolutely flying out there, almost Neuer-esque. And he kind of missed the ball, but it was really well defended. It could even have been Kim who got the header out in the end. But that was risky from Ulreich there. I mean, he didn't look particularly confident. Although, great play from Sané there to skin the defender just as we go down the other end. Can they get the second goal before half-time? Davis now taken great play from Davis, who's had a good half as well. Kane out wide wins a corner on the other side this time. But yeah, he's a great free kick taker, Dutch, isn't he? He doesn't really waste anything. It was actually incredibly, it was Kane. Wow, it was Kane showing the quality of the man, getting the header out after Ulreich just came flying out and missed it. That was real danger zone from Bayern there. And it was actually Harry Kane, the number 9, who headed it out, Rory. There. I'll just stay with me for this corner as well for Bayern. It's probably going to be the last action of this first half. Just as the ball comes in, looks again a good corner, but it's easily cleared by the Werder man, although not far enough to get it completely out of danger. It's cleared to Sané, although it looks as though they're going to go right back to Ulreich. So I would imagine the halftime whistle will come any second now, Rory.
Yeah, I believe it is indeed halftime now. Even though I'm slightly behind on my TV, I can see on my phone that the final whistle, the halftime whistle, has blown. As you say, going back to the moment of madness from Ulreich, rush of blood coming out for that free kick from Dushk, as you say, Mark. Rarely wastes a set piece delivery. I completely agree with that. It's been some good quality already tonight. As you say, Harry Kane will do it in both boxes. Very good header. And then the fallout of that was Harry Kane ended up with possession relatively deep in his own half and picked out a long raking diagonal pass for Sane, I think, who got on the end of it, which eventually led to the corner that Bayern won. So, just going to show his quality all around the pitch. Going into half-time, Mark, Werder unfortunately have had a XG of 0.06, which is whether you're a fan of XG or not, that's, kind of indicates that Bayern have controlled the match. Bayern have only got an XG of slightly below 1. So it's not been firing away the Bayern show. And obviously we had the disallowed goal and other chances as well. So what we'll do is now we will refer to the rest of the weekend's action and do some delightful predictions. What we're hoping to do more this season is actually do our own specific prediction show. It will be a very short and sharp one that we'll probably do on a Thursday evening. Just probably a 10-minute quick thing where me and Mark will do a joint effort to look at the weekend's fixtures and do some fun predictions. So, a really interactive thing. So we'd really welcome people's feedback and predictions to kind of grow the community in that sense and just have a bit of fun with it, really. It does not have to be taken seriously at all. It's just something that we want to do ahead of this season, trying to get a bit more content out for you guys and just a bit more to talk about, really, ahead of the weekends. We'll be doing that. So it'd be interesting to see how you all enjoy that as we see the replays of the Sane finish, which made it 1-0 as it stands right now. So let's have a look at the fixtures for the weekend, Mark, and we'll do some predictions whilst it's halftime. So I'll just grab it on my phone. First game to look forward to tomorrow, 2:30 kickoff my time, 3:30 kickoff German time will be Augsburg hosting Borussia Mönchengladbach. I'll hand over to you for this one to start with.
Yeah, it's a really hard one, this, actually, because it's two sides that I've got to be down in the bottom half this season. But this one, as soon as I saw this fixture, it kind of screamed out as being like a classic Augsburg fixture, actually, this one, to be honest. Right. And I think they have a good record at home against Gladbach in recent years. I know they beat them at home last season, and I've just got a feeling that this has a look of another Augsburg win, actually. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have given me stick, actually, for the fact that, I've not really given Gladbach the greatest kind of, praise ahead of this season. And I do like the manager, though. I do like Sioane, and the signings are, I don't know, you're really convinced by them, aren't you, Rory? You seem really impressed by their signings, but I'm not that impressed by them, but we'll have to see. But I'm actually going to go for a 2-1 home win here for Augsburg. I think the Bavarians might start off well. What about you, Rory?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when I say I'm impressed by the signings, what I kind of mean is that obviously it helps that it looks like they've settled in quite well. But I just think because of the fact that things were going south so quickly for Gladbach, I think they identified and probably had their replacements lined up quite a while in advance. And so there wasn't a big kind of interim period where, their replacements for Thuram and Stindl and Hoffman and other quality players were like there was a big gap. It was done quite quickly. So it's enabled Sioane to have a full preseason basically with them. And so I'm going to disagree with you, actually. I'm going to back Gladbach away from home and say a 2-1 reverse win for them. So we're going opposites in that sense. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. We shall find out tomorrow afternoon. Next up, Hoffenheim versus Freiburg. Again, an interesting one for me. I still feel like Freiburg have got to be penned as favourites for this one. Hoffenheim, I really think are going to be interesting to see how many goals they can score this season. As I said in the prediction show, that's my one worry for them. Obviously, being at home, first game of the season will help. But I'm going to go again for a relatively narrow 2-1 away win for Freiburg for them to get off to a solid start.
Yeah, it's not an easy one, this, because I don't know exactly what to expect from Hoffenheim this year. There's been a lot of upheaval, and like the squad is going to look very different, especially in the attacking lineup. It's going to look like a completely different team compared to last season. So, it could go one or two ways, but I would agree. I mean, with Freiburg, apart from the keeper situation, it's pretty much the same team that came out, and I think that'll benefit the away side. And they do have a good record as well against Hoffenheim in recent years. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 away win in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, one interesting thing I actually picked out because not only ourselves have been doing predicted tables. Derek Ray did his on Twitter or X the other day, and he had Hoffenheim finishing, I think he was 7th or 8th, and I was really surprised by that because I think quite a lot of other people have penned Hoffenheim to come similar-ish to where we've predicted
11th, 12th or so.
Yeah, that sort of position. But obviously, Derek thinks differently, so it'll obviously be very interesting to see how they go this season. Right, next up, very exciting game, possibly the game of the weekend: Leverkusen versus RB Leipzig. As Balam has alluded to in the chat, it should be a good test for Leipzig. A title match in a way, possibly. We've penned them down for top 4, Mark, and I think probably for the fact that I'll end up sitting on the fence for this one, feel like it could be a high-scoring draw, maybe a 2-2.
Yeah, this is how hard is this to tip, really? I mean, obviously, Leverkusen probably, you would say, have the better of the window simply because they got so much quality in and only lost really Diaby out. But, I mean, Leipzig's an interesting one because nobody really knows what to expect from them this season. Until last week, expectations weren't that high. But then that performance they put in at the Allianz last week looked amazing, really. And they'll fancy this game. They'll fancy getting a good away win to start the season. And, I'm going to say they're going to do it simply because they did so well away against Bayern last week. I think this fixture comes at a good time for them because they can say, let's just replicate that performance, basically, And I think it won't be as easy, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win for Leipzig here, actually.
Yeah, interesting. It almost feels in a way like... because there's a lot of expectation on Leverkusen, there's a chance that they might underperform in a sense. Yeah. Like for example, it's a bit of a difference, but obviously the Newcastle Villa game, everyone's really excited about how well Villa might do this season. They lost 5-1, didn't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think you can compare those two, but it's just an interesting thing to mention. Right then, so yeah, I'll stick to 2-2. Mark goes 2-1 to Leipzig. Next up, VfB Stuttgart versus Bochum. Again, probably two sides that are going to be nearer the bottom end of the table this season. I hope that is not the case for a VfB point of view, Mark, but I'll let you decide on this one to start with. Obviously, I think Balin put something in the comments earlier about the loss of Wataru Endo, and I'm still, drying my tears about that one. But a huge loss ahead of the season.
Yeah, it is. I'm kind of gutted. I'm happy for him, though. I didn't realize he was 30, actually. I thought he was much younger, to be honest. And at 30 years old, for him, it's an amazing move to Liverpool. And I mean, he's going to get a lot of game time, too, in that light Liverpool midfield this season. And I believe that, that the kind of loyalty is shown to Stuttgart. He deserves that move. But from Stuttgart's perspective, I mean, Klopp actually came out and said Stuttgart got a good deal, but I mean, £60 million, I don't know, to be honest. Yeah, I think...
Didn't really like that comment.
No, I think it's a little bit arrogant, in my opinion, but I think Endo is an absolutely key player, an amazing player, a true stalwart at Stuttgart, probably a club legend as well, really, at least in the last 10 to 15 years anyway. And a fantastic player, and they're going to miss him. But in my opinion, they'd miss Gurasi more. I would say that much, because I do believe that there's quality in that midfield. The likes of Mio is going to be really, really tipped to have a big season this year. I know he plays a bit further forward than Endo, but I mean, I think Stuttgart should still have enough to win this game at home. We don't see Bochum win many games away these days, and I still believe that as long as Stuttgart don't get too many sales, which is worrying because so many players are still linked away. That's the problem before the end of the window. But I still think the squad should be good enough to win this. But there will be a bit of hangover, I think, from the Endo loss. But I still think a 2-0 home win for me here.
Okay, yeah, interesting. I think I'll back the boys. I'll say 2-1 against Bochum. Important to get off to a strong start. I don't think it's too long before we play Leipzig. So, it's really important, especially at home, to get those early wins. Yeah, it took till game match week 10 for our first win last season. And that was against Bochum off the back of, I think that was off the back of Pellegrino Matarazzo losing his job, actually. And there was a bit of a bounce in that sense. But I'll say 2-1. In that sense, but obviously really disappointed to lose Endo to Liverpool. The final afternoon game is Wolfsburg versus Heidenheim. Heidenheim making their Bundesliga bow, their debut. They must be absolutely buzzing, Mark. Obviously a tricky away test. I mean, obviously all the matches in the Bundesliga ultimately are tricky. I think I'm going to have to back the home side with the talent that they have on show. It'd be nice if Heidenheim can at very least get a goal on their first match week. So it'd be good for them to do that. But I'm still going to say 3-1 to Wolfsburg.
Yeah, I'm on a similar line, to be honest. I think this is a good opening fixture for Wolfsburg. And, it's a big season for them and Niko Kovac. But there's so much quality in that squad, really. Like, I don't think a lot of people that don't follow the Bundesliga closely don't realize just how good their squad is, really. It's one of the best in the Bundesliga. But, they don't have the best home support, with all due respect to Wolfsburg fans. And I think that sometimes they don't have that, bank of home fans that is going to, full stadium every week that pushes a lot of teams on in this league. But this is a very sweet fixture to start with. And I agree. I think a 4-1 home win, to be honest, here for the home side.
Yeah, absolutely. Valid opinion and prediction. And then our final game of Saturday, the evening kickoff, early evening kickoff, will be Borussia Dortmund hosting FC Köln. Looks like a good fixture for Dortmund to start off with, to crack on with their title challenging season and show their credentials. I think we may have accidentally upset a few Köln fans with our predictions. I'll blame you, Mark, for that one. With our thinking that Köln might struggle this season, and unfortunately, I can't say that I've changed my mind in the last few days. So I'm going to go with a 3-0 home win, I think.
Yeah, I think the Dortmund like this fixture, actually. They like this fixture, and they also like this kickoff time too, Dortmund. They beat them, I think, was it 5 or 6-1 at home last season? And I think, unfortunately for Köln, I think a similar scoreline is upcoming. It might not be quite so heavy because Dortmund might be a little bit rusty at Bundesliga standard. I mean, they won, 6-1 last week, but that was obviously against a far inferior side. But I still think probably a 4-1 is upcoming here. I think Köln might be able to get a goal because, I think Dortmund are going to play a very attacking lineup in this game, and they're going to want to try and put on a show to, show that they're ready for this season. And I think they'll win probably 4-1 here again.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 games on Sunday to look forward to then. Union Berlin, Champions League Union Berlin, hosting Mainz. Looks like a fairly even contest, that. Obviously, Mainz' away form can at times be a little bit off colour, but they have improved that. That has to be said. Union, I think, will get off to a strong start. They've recruited so well. The confirmation of Kevin Volland signing. He's not a young whippersnapper by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a quality operator, I feel, for them. still being linked to Bonucci as well, which is crazy. For Union Berlin, I just love it. Overall, be a close run thing. I'll go 2-1 to the home side.
Yeah, I think this is a classic game where home advantage counts, really. If it was in Mainz, I'd probably be saying a narrow home win for Mainz, to be honest. But I think with it being in Berlin, these are such a good home side, really. It's almost ridiculous. They didn't lose at all in 17 home games last year. And I think they only drew 4 or 5 out of those 17 too. So, their home form is stupidly good, really. So again, it's the kind of game they probably will win this. But again, I'm not sure we'll see that many of the new faces tomorrow. I think Union will put out a classic team. A lot of the players we saw last season. Get them, another classic Union 2-0 home win for me here.
Yeah, very good. And just as we come to the last game of the weekend, perfectly timed, I can see the players coming back out onto the field for the second half. We'll obviously double check for any substitutions in a moment's time. I'd be surprised if there's been any at halftime, frankly speaking. And obviously Mark can lead us onto the action in a moment. But yeah, Frankfurt versus Darmstadt. Obviously Darmstadt's first Bundesliga run out for a long while as well, and they'll no doubt be ecstatically excited, taking their fans away to their derby rivals to get kicked off. But yeah, obviously starting away from home on the opening day to a rival will get the blood pressure and the heart rate pumping. But I still think Frankfurt will have the quality to see them through, and I will say a 3-1 home win.
Yeah, again, this is like the stuff that dreams are made of, really, for Darmstadt. The first year back in the Bundesliga, I think, for 7 years, and they go away to their arch rivals. So that atmosphere is going to be superb. Like, anyone who wants to see a good atmosphere has got to watch that game, really, because that would be amazing. I'm sure our friend of the show, Alex, will be there as well. But yeah, this is going to be a great game to watch. Darmstadt are going to struggle this season. I really don't see any other kind of alternative to that. They don't seem to have a very strong squad, and they've lost key players. That's the problem. And I think, they'll try their absolute heart out in this game, which is why I think it's only going to be a 2-1 home win, because I just think Darmstadt this game is going to mean more to them. But I still think that Frankfurt have got too much quality, and they'll still win the game for me.
Yep. Absolutely. Well rounded up there. So, yeah, we're back underway, Mark. Second half of Werder Bremen versus Bayern Munich. First game of the Bundesliga season. We are back underway in the second half. 1-0 to the champions, thanks to a goal from Leroy Sané very early on, assisted by Harry Kane. Just as Werder coming down the left-hand side, early doors. Can we get a good cross in? He can. Oh, they got each other's way. Amos Pieper then skies it. Encouraging start, though, for Werder, Mark.
Yeah, both sides are attacking. There's only been a minute and a half, and Bayern have also had a shot on target as well. Very encouraging. Just as Werder win it deep into the Bayern half now, they're actually attacking again here. Oh, it's a good ball through. Oh, what a chance for Werder Bremen. A massive chance, their biggest chance of the game. Oh, and it's Bittencourt who slides in. It was brilliantly worked. One deep into the half. I think it was Füllkrug actually put the ball in. Oh, you've got to be scoring that, man. It's Bittencourt slides. He's got so much space, and he's just kind of mishit it altogether. It's Füllkrug with a brilliant play again. Every time he gets on the ball, he's been quality tonight, And the same with Dutch as well. But Bittencourt, unfortunately, wasn't up to standard. Although he's taken a knee in the head from Upamecano. That looked painful, really. Like, on the way down, he took a real heavy knee to the head, and he looks out completely. But to be honest, you might want to forget that one, Rory, because that was a bit of a sitter, in my opinion, really.
Yeah, maybe he's going to suffer some short-term memory loss because, it was a bit of a bump. But he gets there.
Look at those scenes as well. Have you seen that wall of fire from the Werder?
Oh, it's amazing.
Wow, that looks cool.
Yeah.
They've got a wall of fire. They've literally set the whole ultra section on fire, like with flares, and it looks like a wall of fire behind the Werder goal. And it looks like it's the goal, not to where Werder are shooting in actually at the moment. But wow, atmosphere is superb, and it should be 1-1. It really should be 1-1. And Bittencourt, he's not had the best couple of years really in his career, and that was a great chance to kind of get back into the big time, Rory, really for him.
Yeah, he's a a high quality player when he turns up, and I think often he was relied upon really heavily.
Oh, chance! Oh, it's another chance there. Fulkrug fires over from a good position again. Werder on fire, Rory. Sorry, back to what you were saying.
Not a problem at all. I'd rather Werder be on fire than me rambling on. But yeah, no, the wall of fire has set Werder on fire early on in the second half. Yeah, great start by the home side. But you can see straight away they're higher up the pitch. They're pressing, attacking the end of where the Ultras have got, the pyro on the go. And as you say, great. Oh God, yeah, great chance. If he gets his foot over that, then it's goal time probably. Lovely, exciting start to the second half for me and Mark to enjoy, and everyone to enjoy, whether you're watching with us or watching elsewhere. Obviously, the excitement is what the Bundesliga provides us, and is what we love watching all the time. Great double tackle on Kingsley Coman, but somehow he got through about another 2 or 3. I think Weiser was one of them.
It was Weiser who made the tackle in the end, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he seemed to hurt himself a little bit. They've obviously Werder must have had a bit of an Ole Werner rocket, I would say, Mark, because they've come out with a lot more energy. They obviously started the first half in a similar vein, maybe not as many chances, but they were pressing high. Maybe that, Werner was not impressed with that first half, and maybe he said, look, it's up to you lot to, show this crowd, this full capacity crowd, that you can compete with this team. And by way of pressing higher up the pitch and using the atmosphere, it's ended up with a really positive start to the half.
And what a chance from Goretzka as well. More great play from Mazraoui, who I've been really impressed with. And Goretzka missed controls from right in front of the goal there, actually. Yeah, that's not going to be, another player that's not supposedly in the best books with Thomas Tuchel. So it's surprising to see him start tonight. Maybe, you never know, maybe this is like a last chance for Upamecano and Goretzka before the window. You don't know, really. Because obviously Bayern are going to want to balance those old books now after shelling out 120 million or whatever it was on Harry Kane. And that was poor from Goretzka there. He's got to do better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
The only thing you can maybe say is that he possibly sees the ball late, because it did seem to come through a couple, because it's not like a high. Maybe no. I think I'm making excuses up for him. To be fair, looks like his field of vision was actually quite clear. So yeah, I think.
Is Werder through 1-on-1? Is he? Oh no, he's too slow. It's Dutch who got. Oh, he was offside anyway, and he's pretty lucky, to be honest. He was offside because we've credited him a lot. He was offside, but he was too slow there. I'm not sure who it is getting back. I think it was Kim. Wow. He was like an absolute rocket there getting back. And he's, as I say, he had a good first half, and he looks good, Kim, so far. He's famous for his pace as well, and that was quality. And this game is just end to end, literally. Bayern go forward again now, and it's blocked behind for a corner for Bayern. I think there is going to be a second goal in this before long. Both sides have had 2 chances already in this second half, and we've only been away for 7 minutes. So I think there will be a second goal coming soon, but obviously the way it goes is absolutely key at the moment, Rory.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the second goal for Bayern is a big one. As you say, really, really impressive recovery pace from Kim to get back there, even if it was an offside one. It's encouraging signs. Bayern, picking up the balls in really interesting positions. As that Bittencourt wears one in the face for a Bayern corner, I think, Mark.
Yeah, but it was well cleared, and actually, although it's out for a Bayern throwing deep into the Werder Bremen half. But yeah, I've just got a feeling that the second goal is going to come before the 60-minute mark, but I'm just not sure which way. I mean, the biggest chance was the Bittencourt one for me. He's got to be scoring that one, 200%. The Fulkrug one was a bit harder because it was one of them where you've got to get over the ball, and it's not that easy to do that. But I think the Bittencourt one was just an easy. He just had to get, to slide in or side foot it into the back of the net past Ulrich. He had time. Yeah, he had nobody around him. That was the chance. And then probably Goretzka's was the second best chance for me in the second half. He missed control from in a very, very good position in front of goal. Just as Bayern breakthrough again. Come on, and Mazraoui had probably been, and also Musiala at times have been really impressive. But some of the last-ditch defending from Werder has been really good. The likes of Friedel, Vejkovic have been really good. Pieper at times as well has been really good. And, Mitchell Weiser is starting to get into the game a little bit more for the home side too. So this is a really exciting game now. And, it's proving to be a real challenge for the champions on the return to Bundesliga action, Rory.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that kind of perfectly times in with a comment that's come in from Danny or DNNY, obviously a regular viewer of ours. So I hope you're enjoying the game. And seems like you've just tuned in, expecting what was maybe going to be a bit of a Bayern walkover, expecting it surely to be Bayern leading by 3 or 4 already. Seems like they have some underlying problems. Yeah, I mean, it's something that we've kind of alluded to a little bit in this watch along. We've kind of also chatted about a great length, Mark, in the end of last season, a little bit in our prediction show as well. The stuff that's been happening internally, possibly Harry Kane being a bit of a kind of band-aid over some cracks. Just a good ball in there by Mazraoui again there. Fulkrug does well and earns Werder a bit of safety, Mark, and that's a yellow card for Min Jae, I think, or was it someone else?
No, it was Kim. Yeah, it was great play again, but the free kick in this case was appalling. Actually, a lot of men committed forward by Werder and didn't even beat the first man from way back. So yeah, now it looks as though we're going to see a booking for a Werder player who dragged back. Come on, I think it was. We probably should see a booking here for a Werder man. Again, yeah, we are going to see a booking for, who is it? Stay with me on that. It's going to be, it is the yellow card, and it's for. Oh, great play there from Musiala. He's just so good. He just glides away from players. What a player he is, really, Musiala. And he's been very good tonight when he's been on the ball. Yeah. The booking out for, it's actually that man Linen as well, or Linen. I'm not sure exactly how you say his name, but he's gone into the book. The only debutant that we're seeing actually from Werder Bremen tonight in the Bundesliga. So, yeah, but the game is just so open. It's crazy. I'm not sure there's any other league you could see a game this open, really. It's just ridiculously open almost at times at the minute. And as Werder come forward again, is he going to be able to control it? Great play from Weiser to keep the ball in there. But he's overplayed there. He's done a little bit too much to try and outpace Alphonso Davies, and he's ended up fouling the Bayern Munich man, and it's now a free kick for the away side. But yeah, I'm trying to catch my breath. It's been a really, really entertaining start to the second half. Both sides have had chances galore, really, Rory. And, Werder Bremen, as things stands right now, they're probably going to be quite happy because, they're still in the game with around about an hour on the clock against Bayern Munich. So we'll just have to see what can happen in the last half an hour, Rory.
Yeah, and well, obviously, as things stand, they just need one of those set pieces to go well. They've already seen it work in the first half, obviously minus half a step. It would have been 1-1 already. And yeah, Bayern have to be well aware of this. And I think, there's plenty of support for the home side throughout the Bundesrepublik. So, with, well over 30 minutes to go, plus extra time, we've still got 40 minutes effectively of Bundesliga action in the second half to enjoy. And as you say, on 55 minutes, well, not 55 minutes, nearing 60, not many games across Europe would be as open. And yeah, it's only 1-0, and we had our goal early doors.
Off the post for Bayern. Sorry to interrupt again. I think it was Musiala. with more fantastic play, and it's smashed off the post. Pavlenka was beaten, all ends up. Very unlucky from Bayern there not to make it 2-0. But yeah, this second half has just been superb. Like the first wasn't bad by any means, but this has been, just as an amazing overhead kick came in there from Goretzka, but it's gone way, way wide. But yeah, let me check. I think it was Musiala who smashed off the post. Oh no, was it? Oh, who was it? Yeah. No, it was Coman, actually. It was Kingsley Coman who smashed off the post. Very unlucky there. It was actually a very similar finish, to the goal that won the title last year, actually, incredibly. It was obviously it was Musiala who scored it then, but obviously, Coman, what an effort that was. We are going to see the first sub. It's actually Weiser who's gone off, and it's Burke. Yeah, Oliver Burke is still at the club, and he's back on the pitch as well as Scotland international, Rory.
Yeah, he's Burke's been I see what you mean by the overhead kick. He's been turned into a bit of a wing back now by Oliver, and it's been something that they've worked on in pre-season. Obviously, he's been a player that hasn't been moved on, probably despite their best efforts. So he's been given another chance, and he's going to be operating as a wing back. I think he's someone who could do a good job in that sort of position. He's definitely got enough energy to do it, and maybe he's not prolific enough to be that kind of superstar striker anymore. Obviously, he's not a player that scored many Bundesliga goals, so this sort of new position for him is interesting. Just as presumably there's another chance.
Yeah, Goretzka again from distance, but what a block that was. It looked like it was going to be 2-0 for all the world because he had literally days to pick his spot. But he's actually a great block, but Bayern is still pushing here. This game is just so open at the minute. And now Werder break away. Bayern are playing such a high line despite being 1-0 up away from home. And once again, Werder are away. A great ball coming in, but he can't quite connect to it there, full crew. But Werder showing that they've still got the quality to break away. That they're doing really well this half to kind of create opportunities for themselves and play themselves through the press. But yeah, this is super open, and it was a really good block there. I'm not sure exactly who got the block. I think it could have been Friedel, but it was a brilliant, Goretzka's great at striking a ball from that kind of distance too. So when I saw it step up, I thought 2-0 all the way, but it was actually really well blocked, Rory, by the Werder defense.
Yeah, massive block. And like you say, Bayern are playing really high up because they have, intentions of getting that goal. But it does feel like the last
Kane! Kane has had his first big chance in a Bayern Munich shirt, and it's well saved by Pavlenka. He looked like he wanted to pass it, but he actually ended up taking the shot. He did the right thing to shoot. It was a really clean strike and actually a pretty good save as well by the big Werder Bremen keeper. But yeah, that's probably the first big chance that Kane's had, really, despite a good debut, in my opinion, anyway. But yeah, good save by Pavlenka there. But Bayern, the last 5 minutes, really, really turning on the pressure, Rory.
Yeah, literally the words coming out of my mouth were Bayern are turning it on in the last few minutes. Probably the first we've seen of Kane in this half, though, specifically. Yeah. But yeah, no, good on the turn as ever. Good close control from Kane. Maybe doesn't get the ball out of his feet that well, so that's why he kind of doesn't maybe generate enough power to beat Pavlenka. Certainly going across him rather than at the near post. So yeah, no, good save by Pavlenka. In the end, obviously making sure that the ball at least goes out of play and not staying in play crucially. So yeah, feels like a big 5-10 minutes now.
Geez, Werder, what a game this has turned into being. This time lean and poor defending actually from Bayern. I think their centre halves are just getting stranded a little bit when Werder get the ball forward because there's just not enough midfielders back at the minute. Yeah. And actually it's poor play from Kim this time, who's been shaken by, and it was a brilliant striking from that new man, Lehnen. And it just goes wide. It looked in from where I hit it as well. I don't know how there's only been one goal in this game, to be honest, because the second half, it could have been 3-3 just in the second half, to be honest. As Bayern now attack again. Oh, good defending this time, though, by Werder, and it goes out for a goal kick. But did that one look into you, Rory?
Genuinely, yeah. When I was watching it live, I thought it was in. Yeah, great hit. Yeah. there's got to be a goal coming, hasn't there? Every time I start to talk, you start shouting about another chance, literally. So, I'm expecting something imminently. I really am. And it'd be fascinating if it went Bremen's way. It would really set up a grandstand finish for us, wouldn't it? Just as Bayern come forward again, but that's well defended, stopping the Harry Kane run. What are we thinking about substitutions then, Mark? Are Bayern needing to change anything themselves? Doesn't feel that there's that much to take off the Werder bench, though.
No, obviously Burke's come on. Oh, jeez, yeah. Alphonso Davies is having a bit of a nightmare this second half, actually. He's just been skinned again, I think, by Burke, incredibly, this time. And yeah, once again, I think was it Burke? Yeah. The angle I get it isn't actually that good at times on this Sat 1 or Sat 1 is what I'm getting. It's not as good as the DAZN coverage, I've got to say, but he got absolutely skinned there. And unfortunately, the ball was well cut out for a Werder perspective. But Werder deserve a lot of credit. Picture their fans, they look happy, a lot of support from them. Ole Werner is going to be a lot happy with the second half performance than the first. Although the first, they did well after conceding so early, they could have fallen apart in that first half, and they did well to keep it to 1-0. And we all knew that there would be a point when Werder would start putting on pressure. But they've been really good in the second half. But, Bayern will also feel as though they should have had at least a couple of goals as well in the second half. So it's only 1-0, but this game could easily be like 3-2 to Bayern, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. That first touch from Ollie Burke, though, oh my words, that was bloody lovely. Getting past Alphonso Davies that way with some lovely close footballing control, some lovely ball control by Harry Kane there, perfect for holding that ball up. Be really interested to see if the likes of Chupo Motting were called upon. Kind of feels like a bit of a gag bringing Chupo on for Harry Kane, but he's a player. Chupo Motting's a player that Bayern missed at the end of last season. Genuinely, I remember when you went to go watch Bayern last season, Mark, versus what was it, Inter Milan in Champions League?
Yeah. He banged one in from like 30 yards. Yeah.
And he was instrumental to much of what they did when they were playing relatively okay at that stage in the season. So the Bayern bench, obviously, from a naming point of view, is of high quality. Just as I'm seeing a probable yellow card for Werder, bringing down Mazraoui on the right-hand side there, Mark.
Yeah, it's just getting a bit scrappy in the midfield, but Bayern seem really desperate to get that second goal. They're not taking it slow. I wonder if maybe the fact that they don't want 7-8 minutes added on is keeping the ball in play a little bit more. Because it's been one of the most kind of free-flowing second halves I've ever watched in football. It's I can't remember 1 minute when the game stopped, really. And Bayern again with a chance here. Ooh, this time Kimmich with the shot from distance going just wide. I mentioned they've had a lot of shots from distance today, Bayern, from outside the area. And this was another one that for a minute looked like it was going in, but it just curved wide of Pavlenka's goal. So, yeah, this is just so nicely poised for an opening match of the season, And it looks as though De Ligt is actually going to be Bayern Munich's first introduction, which is quite interesting, actually, because it's going to be interesting to see who goes off for him, whether they withdraw him. It's going to be number, let me tell you who's going to come off. It's actually Kim. Kim looks as though he's done enough. Yeah, he struggled a little bit the second half. After all the credit we gave him in the first half, the second half has been, maybe he's not fully match fit. I don't know, but he looked a little bit tired in that second half. And probably the Bundesliga style, he's not used to such a fast pace of play because in Italy, it's famously a very slow league as well. So maybe that could have been part of it, Rory, too.
Yep, the yellow card certainly doesn't help either. So they'll be, they'll be well aware of that, won't they? And the different pace. This has been an open game, and again, seeing it being 1-0 after 67 minutes, the casual viewer or someone who isn't watching the game might suggest that it's been a slow affair, but no, the ball has been in play a lot of the time, as you've already suggested. So I think, fitness will definitely be something that he'll get used to. Just as we're seeing double substitution for Werder as well, Mark, and you can maybe bring us up to date on those changes and just seeing the numbers. I'm not quite sure who they are from a Werder point of view.
Yeah, so Schmid and Gross have come on for Lehnen, who actually had a really good debut. I thought he was really good actually on debut. He looks like a very kind of interesting midfielder. Was unlucky not to equalise after that beautiful, sweetly struck strike, but he looks like a kind of all-action midfielder. A bit of attacking, a bit of defence too. He had a really good debut. But he's actually come off for Gross, who was actually a key player for Werder last season, played pretty much every game. So, it's going to be a big 20, 25 minutes for him. He's going to want to get back into that squad. And then obviously Schmid as well, who also started most of the games for Werder last season too. So, two players who've got Bundesliga experience. They did well for long parts of last season, especially the first half of the season. So, although Bayern come again here, and Coman shoots over this time. As the shots mount up for Bayern Munich, they still can't get that second goal. And for as long as this game goes on, there might even be kind of, deja vu from last season as well, because they did concede a lot of late goals, particularly away from home, to end up drawing games that they should have won. Bittencourt on the bench doesn't look particularly happy. He didn't really have a good game for me, Bittencourt. Missed a big chance and just in general just didn't look that great. What did you think of his performance, Rory?
Yeah, I think that's just frustration coming to the fore, isn't it? Generally speaking, and everyone's had it that's played football. You get substituted if you've not had your best game and you feel frustrated. And I think that's probably a similar situation with him. Certainly exchanging some verbals. Not sure if it was directly with Ole Werner. Maybe it was. Obviously has to be careful what he says. He's definitely a player that's got that in him. He's definitely a hot-headed player. But yeah, anyway, there'll be more to come from him for sure in a Werder shirt this season. So it was not a disgraceful performance at all. He just didn't have his full clinical best performance today. Just as Werder unfortunately losing the ball from a throw in there, and Bayern able to reset possession, but. Again, Mark was still seeing Werder pushing up loads from where they were playing in the first half. It really is, interesting to see that. Well, obviously, the tactical shift. It's obviously a bit of a shot to nothing as well. Being 1-0 down is still so close, and how well they timed their assault on the Bayern goal for maybe a late equaliser.
Yeah, I'm not sure they can do that much more than what they're doing at the moment, to be honest. They are getting, enough of the ball, especially on the break, and they're doing a lot of good things. They're still looking like a side that do have a goal in them. Kane had another half chance just before as well. That's a good play from Kingsley Coman. He's going to want a goal as well, because when you sign for big money, you don't want to be messing around. You want to get off and get the goals. He's obviously got an assist. And for me, the first half, he was very good, but second half, not as good in general, to be honest. I wouldn't say he's not been involved as much, but it's still been a satisfactory, probably a 6.57 out of 10 debut for me for Harry Kane tonight. But the goal would make it an 8 out of 10, and that's what he wants. You know what I mean? He wants to get that goal, and, so that nobody's... The problem is that's what happened with Mane last year. He didn't get that goal early enough, and then everyone started questioning him, and then all of a sudden he just lost all his confidence, and it all fell apart for him, basically. So I think when you sign for big money, you do want to get a goal early, especially as a forward player. I mean, we saw obviously Haaland last year for City. He got, what was it, like a hat-trick in his second game or something. So, I mean, that calmed the nerves very, very nicely, didn't it? And I think that, if Kane can get a couple of goals in his first couple of games, and he's going to go on and have like an unbelievable season this year. But say he goes 4 or 5 games without a goal, then people are strange nowadays. They will start questioning him if he doesn't get a goal after 4 or 5 games. So, he'll want to get that goal. But this is really, really interestingly poised for me, this game. I think it's still highly possible that Werder could get a point, but it's still possible that Bayern could go and win 3-0. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So, stick with us if you're watching. Thank you so much that everyone has tuned in so far this evening. Really appreciate it, because we know that, other channels and other TV companies are covering this game. So, we really appreciate you taking the time wherever you are, if you're watching with us and enjoying the start of the Bundesliga season. It is fantastic to just be back and talking Bundesliga really and watching the footy. So just make sure you smash a like on the video and comment along just as we're entering the back end of this match. Still, as Mark said, finally poised. It could really go either way here. And I'm sure there'll be many Dortmund, Leverkusen, Leipzig, and pretty much every other fan be suggesting that they might want an equaliser or two Werder goals. And just whilst we're, having a lull, certainly having a lull on my end, but Mark, I think I've just, out of the corner of my eye, seen something on my phone, so I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, so Davis is country and it's Kane. We were just talking before and he's got his debut goal. Harry Kane, England's number 9, has his debut goal. And to me, it's probably, it's an amazing assist as well. I think it was by Alphonso Davies who broke forward, which is actually really good for my fantasy football team, by the way, because I've got both of them in my team as captains. So yeah, it looks like that's going to be the game. What was it? Again, the coverage of my game tonight, it just seems so far away from the pitch from what I can see. Normally it's a lot closer, but it was Davis who got the assist. So it's exactly the chance he wanted. It's actually deflected off the defender. It was almost another amazing block from the Werder defence, actually, from Pieper, actually, who got an amazing foot to it. But it has gone in. Harry Kane has his debut goal, and it's now a goal and an assist for the number 9 on debut, Rory, and he's going to be really damn happy about that as well.
I mean, welcome to the Bundesliga, Harry Kane. From an English point of view, it's just really exciting to have him here in the league that we follow and love. And, it's like you say, it's the perfect opportunity. He, as a goal scorer, would be fuming with himself if he had not seen that one through. Looks like it's going in without the deflection anyhow, but it's a good effort from, I think it was Pieper maybe trying to make up the ground. Assist for Davis, nice pass. And that's 2-0 to Bayern Munich on opening night. Werder have got a bit of work to do now to maybe bring it back. A quick goal and you never know. England's number 9 has his first for Bayern Munich, 1-1. If you're discounting the Super Cup from the start, he'll be absolutely thrilled. And now I think if it stays this score or if Bayern win, Mark, I think we know what the headlines will look like.
Yeah, I think it's basically unless Werder can rescue a point, then it's definitely going to be only one way. And I think not only the German headlines, but I also think the English headlines are going to have a bit of that as well, to be honest with you. So it's good for the Bundesliga, really, to be honest, ahead of the first weekend. It's going to draw a lot of attention towards the Bundesliga. That's what happens these days, with the way the media is nowadays, then all it takes is a goal from, a superstar like that. And all of a sudden, everyone is watching the highlights of this game, So hopefully. It's good. It's good for everyone involved with the coverage of the Bundesliga. And obviously, the only people who will be sad really now are probably going to be the Werder Bremen fans. Yeah, funny comment from Danny. He says, I fear the championship race is over already. I hope you're being sarcastic there. But yeah, it's, I mean, it's been by no means a one-sided game, this, to be honest. But Werder, again, as we often say, really, when teams play against Bayern, it's going to be a case of missed chances, really, for me, for Werder, because they have had chances in the game. Bayern have been the better side. Let's not kid ourselves now. Bayern have been the better side, but Werder, especially the Bittencourt chance, the offside goal, which was only half a yard off, if that, then, in football, it's about margins, and they haven't quite gone Werder's way today, but I think both sides of, Werder will be happy with their second half performance and Bayern will be also happy. The main striker's got a goal and, there's still 15 minutes left plus stoppage time. 30 minutes plus stoppage time. But, you'd imagine Bayern are going to get the win now, Rory.
Yeah, they'd be very unhappy if they didn't professionally see this one out. I don't know if Werder were trying to maybe claim a handball there from the last free kick of Upamecano, but obviously they played on. And it's, back in play. And as you say, 13-12 12 minutes-ish plus added on time. And we will see it all the way through to the end. And we're looking forward to watching the rest of it. Just to pick up on a question or a comment from Danny in relation to my supporting of Stuttgart. I can't profess it to be a very romantic one, I'm afraid, Danny, but not as good as yours, at least, living outside of Stuttgart and being a lifelong fan. Just basically a short summary I'll give you is, when Mark obviously do interrupt if anything happens in the game. Just briefly is, as soon as myself and Mark started to do this show, way back when, a few seasons ago, I wanted to basically get as much as I could out of it and fall in love with the Bundesliga. Stuttgart had just been promoted that season, our first full season, and I knew about their history and what a big club they were, and so I was really interested to see how they got on, having just been promoted, and just fell in love with the way that they played football, and kind of just gave every club a run for their money. I remember the famous kind of 5-1 win against Dortmund, Silas and co tearing them apart. And yeah, I've been a fan ever since, and was lucky enough to watch my first ever Stuttgart game live in pre-season, just gone, as they came to my current hometown of Sheffield to play Sheffield United, and I got to see a Guirassy hat-trick, which was just amazing for me. So yeah, that's just very shortly my association with the club. I'm part of a few fan member clubs as well myself. I don't try and hold it back too much in this show, as much as me and Mark give our, professional opinions on stuff. It's quite obvious, I have an affliction with Stuttgart. So long may that continue, especially in the Bundesliga. So that's just a short summary of how I've been following them since we started doing this show. And I mean, most of the time, apart from the first season, has been following them through relegation struggles, but it's also been good fun as well. So hopefully it's less stressful this season. We shall see. But anyway, back to the game, Mark. And again, I suppose it's just falling into a trap of Werder finding the right balance between trying to get a goal and also maybe trying to stop Bayern from getting goals 3 and 4.
Yeah, definitely. Just as Harry Kane has actually gone down, I wouldn't be surprised to see him come off now. Actually, he looks very sweaty, to say the least, as he has done for most of the evening. But as I say, it is hot here in Germany this evening for the time, especially. But yeah, I think he might have gone down with cramp now, so I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen the end of Harry Kane's debut here, which has been a very, very productive debut indeed, with a goal and an assist. But yeah, basically nothing's happened since the 2-0, nothing at all. Basically, there's been no half chances, and yeah, Kane is back on his feet. But yeah, I think we're going to see the enemy. It's going to be quite an interesting moment actually, with Thomas Muller coming on to replace Harry Kane as well. Obviously rivals at international level, but friends at club level nowadays. So we are going to see the Bundesliga legend Thomas Muller come on for the last 8 minutes or so. Just zooming on Bayern fans there. They're really happy with what they've seen. He is taking his time to go off, which is probably going to lead to a lot of time added on here as well. So I would imagine he's been down for at least 2 minutes now, and he's still not been subbed. Maybe he wants to stay on. It seems he actually wants to stay on, but he's going to go off here. He's so keen that he wants to go back on, but it seems as though Matthias Tell is being prepared as well. Another interesting youngster for Bayern as well, who's going to probably have a big season this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, Rory, whether he ends up coming off or staying on there.
Yeah. Harry Kane wants to make a good impression with Bayern fans. He's professional to the last. He is a big team player. And so, yeah, he'd want to stay on to do a professional job to see his team over the line. What merit I see in him doing it, very little, from this point of view. Although I do think last season, whether it was under Tuchel or or maybe more so under Nagelsmann, was some of Bayern's bigger players being retracted, substituted too early in games. I think particularly one game that came to mind is when Bayern were playing Stuttgart, actually, and I think they had a lead, and they brought off quite a lot of their first teamers, and Stuttgart, got a lot of impetus from it, and either equalised to make it 2-2, or really
Yeah,
put
they
on the
did.
pressure.
Yeah, they got a last minute equaliser. We are going to see the end of the great man, by the way. Kane is coming off. He looks a little bit gutted, but obviously he's going to be so happy with his night's work. We're going to see Choupo-Moting, Tell, and Muller all come on for the last 7 minutes, but it's just like lip service really now, and just about seeing the game out. We'll be interested to see if Choupo can get another goal, because he seems as though every time he plays, he scores for Bayern, really, doesn't it, Rory? I mean, he does have a great record for the Bavarian club. But yeah, it's a chance for him to try and, stake a claim that he can still do business for this team. And actually, Bayern are away already here. It's a great save though. He should have scored. Was it Goretzka again who went through there? It was Goretzka 1-on-1 with Pavlenka, but Pavlenka's made a great save. Should have been 3-0 there, and the ball is straight into the hands of Pavlenka. But yeah, another chance, Rory, there for the away side.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like Werder's time maybe came and went after they had that really fast start up until maybe the 60th minute. That's when Bayern maybe started to turn it on a little bit more again. As you say, the chances now are generally speaking coming for the away side, and yeah, I mean, the chance was for, what was it, Musiala or Mazraoui? Am I seeing things from the last chance? But whoever it was, they could have passed it to Choupo for an open goal, basically. So yeah, it should be 3-0 ultimately. I don't think there's much, Mark, really to worry about from a Werder point of view. They've not been stuffed. They had a goal disallowed, rightly so, obviously. But that first 15 minutes just feels like they couldn't quite keep it going, and I don't think that's necessarily a fitness thing. I think that's just how long can you keep on pressing a football team that will eventually get out of the press, which Bayern ultimately are really good at doing.
Yeah, I think there's definitely positives for Werder to take. I mean, I think the partnership between Füllkrug and Duck still looks very, very, very capable. And in the limited ball they had, I think both did really well. I think also Lehmann as well. I was really impressed with his performance on debut. He got a little bit tired at the end because he'd run his socks off, literally. And I think, he ended up getting subbed just before the second goal, actually, in the end, which probably didn't help Werder, really. But he was definitely a positive for them as well. I thought he was really good. And I just think, I don't actually have Werder to do that well this year. In my personal predictions, they were 16th, actually, Werder. I just think that, the way that it finished the back end of last season under Werner, I just felt as though they'd lost a bit of the momentum. But this performance today has given me hope that they're still going to have an okay season. Obviously, it's a home loss still, which is never good to start your season. But, it was a bit of a baptism of fire. And, the fans look relatively happy with what they've seen tonight, especially in the second half, I think. And, when you're coming up against the riches and the quality of Bayern Munich, their season isn't going to depend on how they do against Bayern, basically. They've got to be, their goal will be mid-table this season, really, to solidify as a Bundesliga team. You remember, it's only their second straight year in the Bundesliga as well. So, the way they fell off last season, they only ended up just about escaping relegation in the end, actually, last year, because they fell off so much. So they've got to be realistic, and they've got to know that, they've not got the biggest budget in the league, and they've got unlucky with the Naby Keita situation. But there's enough to believe they can stay up, put it that way, I think, from what I've seen.
I think pending big long-term injuries to one of or both of Füllkrug and Dusk, you've got to think that they've got enough creativity to provide those two with goals. Just as Bayern again come forward here, well spread out to the right-hand side, chance to whip in a good cross, low but well defended again. And it just feels like Werder for both goals have just got caught slightly cold, Mark. I mean, obviously the first one, their defence was very high up and got torn apart by the 1-2 between Sane and Kane. And then obviously great work from Davies, managed to separate the Werder defence. So basically on the 2 or 3 few occasions where Werder's defence has been split apart, they've been punished, completely.
Yeah, they have. There was 2 clinical finishes that have won it for Bayern, but yeah, I would say Bayern in general have created a lot of chances really in the game. They've hit the post. Pavlenka's made a few good saves, and the better teams won. But for me, probably what's lost the game for Werder is it's that missed chance from Bittencourt. Really, he's got to be scoring that one for me. I mean, it's a sitter, to be honest. And if that goes in, it's 1-1, and all of a sudden Bayern are starting to get deja vu from last season. And they dropped so many points that they shouldn't have been doing after dominating first halves. But it's not worked out for them tonight. But there's still, as I say, a lot to look forward to for Werder this season. I think one of the keys is getting Mitchell Weiser back to his very top form. Because he wasn't probably at his absolute best tonight. And he's a player that provided so many assists especially in the first half of last season. I think he ended up getting to 12 or 13 assists, which from fullback is one hell of a good effort for a side like Werder Bremen, who ended up finishing 13th or 14th. So it's a team that has quality in it, but it's just about the consistency. And for teams like them, they've got to get that win as early as possible as well. Because the problem is if you go 9-10 games without a win, then it gets a very, very long season from there. And I would say if you go that kind of length of time without a win, you're pretty much guaranteed to finish in the bottom 3 or 4. So. Yeah, there's still work to do. Just as Bayern come again here. They've got the third. Was he onside? They have got the 3-0. It looks like it was Leroy Sané, and now it's starting to look like a bit of a heavier defeat for the home side. Just double check who got it there. It was Sané, and I think it might even have been Lima who got the assist as well, who came on with about 10 minutes to go, by the way. It's a lovely move, actually. It's actually a really sweet goal. Yeah, I'm not sure who got I think it was Lima who got the pre-assist, and then Mazraoui actually who got. No, it was. There were so many passes in there that it's hard to tell. It was actually Muller who got the assist, and it was obviously that man Sane who scored at the beginning of the game and the end of the game. So Bayern showing that strength in depth, aren't they? There.
That's a high quality goal in any division. Really nice interchanging passes. Patience to go backwards when there was nothing on. And then, as Muller comes forwards, he knows that Sané is offside. The 1-2 is played well by Chupo. And then Sané can then retreat to be onside, quite fortuitously. But he's there in the right place to open up his body and, make it 3-0 past the hapless and, no chance of Pavlenka there. And Thomas Tuchel has his desired start to the Bundesliga season. They're gonna run out winners here in the end, away to Werder Bremen. They will know that they've been in a contest tonight. Oli Werner's side have given as good as they got, especially considering they were 1 down within 3 minutes, and showed for long periods of time that they will have great fights, just as they. Werner ping one over from distance. I think that might have been Schmidt. It's been an interesting and entertaining start to the season, Mark. As many would have predicted, we've seen a Harry Kane goal, we've seen a Bayern win, but it's been really interesting to see the way that Bayern are playing it against the sides that maybe are not favoured to do as well this season as possibly last. So there's much to debate. There's much to look forward to the rest of this weekend. I'm confident there'll be goals galore for us to review on Monday's review show. We are going to kind of go back to our standard practice of doing a featured 4 format for most of this season. So we'll be concentrating on kind of the 4 most exciting games of the weekend. That's what we've got to look forward to on Monday. Will this game make the cut? That's the question. We shall see. And we'll be tuning in on Monday to review all of that. Looking forward to that. But well, Bayern will be, they'll still be looking for some gloss mark at the end of this hard match. 6 minutes of added on time. I'm almost 3 minutes into that. So maybe a couple more opportunities for Bayern to get a 4-4 for Werder to get a consolation.
Yeah, if anything, it's going to be the fourth for Bayern. Yeah, it's really starting. They just want the full-time whistle really now, Werder, which is, to be honest, this is one of the reasons why I don't like all this extra time. Because in the past, in the Bundesliga, they would just have added like 2-3 minutes on for this, but they've ended up adding on 6, basically. And, I'm not sure that's necessary, really. We all know the results of the game. And I think, it's starting to get a bit embarrassing, really, for Werder, because the players are just tired and, they can't bring on the quality that Bayern can. Actually, it is 4. They've got the 4th as well. Matthias Tell has smacked one in. And
that's good.
This is the problem, yeah. Did we really need the 6 minutes there, because it's starting to look like a hammering now, and they didn't deserve that, Werder Bremen, 2 goals in injury time. And it's, to be honest, the longer this goes on, they could even get a 5th, because Werder they're just knackered, and they need to finish now, which is one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of the whole 6 minutes added on time, 6, 7, 8, however many they want to add on, Rory.
Yeah, no, I completely get that opinion. And it's a lovely finish, though. And you know what? That's great for the player, because he had received some absolutely rancid, horrible online abuse after the Super Cup. Which is absolutely ridiculous, and just the filth of humanity, basically, which I'm sure he will not have to ever bother himself with. And for him to come off the bench and strike something cleanly, young man with the world at his feet, well done to him. That's great for Matthias Tell. Regardless if you're a Bayern fan, Werder fan, whatever, that's a nice thing for a young player to get. And I get the extra time chat, Mark, absolutely. It's just something we're going to have to get used to, I'm afraid. As a result, we'll probably see more goals.
That's true.
And if you're a fan of a certain team, obviously, I've already explained my kind of following of Stuttgart. It will just mean even more nervousness in extra time, and more late equalizers or late winners or whatever it might be. But it looks like we're just about finished now, Mark, for our...
We are actually. It was funny because the referee blew up. Like Bayern were actually attacking again. There was still like 15 seconds to go, but the referee realised enough's enough now, and he did decide it could quite easily have been a 5th goal actually there. But it's as good as it was. I agree for Teller. I actually think he's a really good player, by the way. I think he had he was like 17 last year, and he contributed to Bayern's side definitely. For such a young player, and I think he's one that I'm excited for, and he's definitely not going to worry himself too much about some idiots online or whatever. But yeah, he is a good player, and he provides quality every time he comes off the bench. And to be fair, it is usually off the bench that he comes at the moment for the young man. But great finish there. And it was nice to see Sane also appreciated that finish with a he celebrated with him as well, which is good to see, because Bayern, especially last year, the camaraderie was non-existent really in the team. And this year, obviously Mane was effectively sent through the door. Some people say to Saudi, some people say he didn't necessarily want to leave the club, but he did because of, fallouts with Sane and some other players. But yeah, I mean, in the end, it's 4-0. I feel a little bit bad saying that really in some ways, because it wasn't a 4-0 game by any means. But I suppose the silver lining was that nice moment for Tell at the end as well, who got his goal. It did end up 4-0 to Bayern, but it was 2 goals in extra time, basically, which, as you say, this is going to be a debate that we're going to see more and more in the Bundesliga this year, whether we need all this extra time. But it looks like every league in Europe is going to at least experiment with this and see whether that's the way they want to go. But yeah, I think unfortunately for Werder, it looks like a hammering all of a sudden, but it wasn't really a hammering, to be honest, especially in the second half, ironically, when Bayern scored 3 of their goals. But Bayern will be very happy. They ended up getting the goals that probably the performance deserved in the end. And for Werder, it looks like a hammering, but there's enough in there to make you think that they could be a lower mid-table kind of position this season, Rory.
Yeah, agreed. Really entertaining, really enjoyable game to get us kickstarted for this season. Like I said, it's just the start, game one of hundreds to come. 34, obviously, match weeks in the Bundesliga that we get to look forward to. Probably man of the match shouts for, Kane will be up there, won't he, with his contributions. And yeah, obviously Leroy Sané for getting a brace, played pretty well. Good performers in there across the board for Bayern. They'll be satisfied with their work. Werder less so with the late goals, but overall, yeah, as you say, there's certainly enough to take from that. They just need to keep the core of their squad fit as possible, I think. But yeah, thank you to everyone that's tuned in tonight. Really enjoyable to get kickstarted. First watch along the season. We'll be back on Monday for the review show, and then there's going to be so much more to come from us for the rest of the season. Can't wait to get stuck into it all. Fingers crossed for a VFB win tomorrow, and I'll hand over to you, Mark, to close up the show.
Yeah, definitely. So if you enjoyed what you saw tonight, then check out Over the Bar FB and Over the Bar Extra. Also check out otbfootball.net, which is the main centerpiece of our work. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the channel tonight. And yeah, the next show will be coming as a result of Monday evening after the conclusion of the first weekend of the Bundesliga action. We will be joined by Peter again as well, which is going to be great. So yeah, thanks again for joining us. It's a 4-0 win for Bayern to kick us off. But yeah, enjoy the weekend of Bundesliga action and see you guys on Monday. Thank you very much, guys. Ciao, ciao.
Cheers all.